Hello everyone, welcome back to Story Time. We are currently reading The Willigrews 2 by Terry Tarbox, and Terry is a local author who has very kindly said that we can read his stories for Story Time. So thank you very much, Terry, and this book is illustrated by Wendy Wheatley, who is Terry's niece. Now I think we're going to be reading the last part today of The Willigrews and the alien encounter. They've now just come across the alien spaceship. It's not too far ahead, and hopefully they'll find out why they want to turn everyone into ready meals. What a strange bunch of... Well, aliens are strange anyway, but what a strange bunch of aliens. Right, so get yourself comfortable and let's find out what's going on. Right, said Bromley. When we get there, let me do the talking, just in case they are a bit dodgy. It wasn't long before they approached the gravy boat-shaped craft, and all but Bromley hid behind a bush. Here goes, said Bromley, not sounding very confident as he approached the aliens. They were gathered in a slimy group on the grass. When they saw him, one of them pointed and shouted, "Grom! Grom! Blarm!" in alarm. "Sorry," explained Bromley, "I only speak Willigrew, although I do know a bit of Dranglebinder." One of the aliens moved slurpily across to Bromley and placed a slimy metal object on his head. Bromley was a little fearful until he realised that now, when they spoke, he could understand them. They explained that it was a translator codifier. Terry, you make me say some difficult words. "What sort of vegetable are you?" it asked. "We have never seen one that could walk before. Would it be all right if we ate you?" "I'm not a vegetable," replied Bromley, looking a bit miffed. "I am a Willigrew, and under no circumstances do we like being eaten." "Well, what are you doing disturbing us at this time of day if you haven't come to be eaten? We were in the middle of a thinking party." "We've come to find out what you did with a young Dranglebinder and a little frog called Ted. You replaced them with ready meals, which is not a very nice thing to do. May we have them back, please?" asked Bromley, as politely as he could. "Oh, that," said the alien, smiling. "Didn't you like the ready meals then? They were from a reputable source, and they contained only pure ingredients and no horse meat. You see, we mean no harm, but we are on your planet collecting specimens for the Interesting Creatures of the Universe project on our planet." By now, the other Willigrews had come out of hiding and were standing beside Bromley. Duffy flew down and landed on Dora's shoulder. When the alien noticed the little bird, he said, "Can we take that interesting flappy thing with us as well? That would be very popular with our visitors. We will swap it for a shepherd's pie." "Definitely not. You can't just go around taking creatures from their homes and families just as you please. It is very wrong," said Bromley, who was starting to lose his patience. "I tell you what," the alien continued, "I'll give you 2 shepherd's pies and a chili con carne, and I'll even throw in a tub of sweet and sour sauce for good measure. I can't say fairer than that, and I'll take the flappy thing off your hands. What'd you say?" Longstint stepped forward, and a slimy metal thing was placed on his head. It looked the alien straight in the eye, it only had one, and said, "Look, old slimy chap, you don't understand. We do not want ready meals. We want the creatures you kidnapped now. We want to take them back with us, so please tell us where they are, and we will leave you in peace." "All right then," the alien said. "You drive a hard bargain. I'll chuck in a nice cook-in-the-bag moussaka, and that's my final offer. Take it or leave it. Come on now, be reasonable. All that grub for a little flappy thing?" By now, Crowfin had stopped listening to the bargaining and gone over to the spacecraft to have a look around. He was almost sick when he saw what was inside, green and yellow slime covering the walls and floor. He went around the side of the vessel and saw a door which he tried to open, but he found it locked. "What I need now," he thought, "is someone who can pick a lock, and I know just the very person." He beckoned Dora, who crept over behind the aliens. "I need your GCSE lock-picking skills, Dora. Can you help?" "I'll have a go," said Dora, taking a small pin from under her fur. "I'm not too sure that I'll be able to pick an alien lock. I didn't do the alien lock part of the course, so I may have to improvise a bit." She tried her normal wiggle, wiggle and waggle method with the pin, but it didn't work. Then she had a thought. She wondered if aliens even knew how to wiggle a pin. she went for the waggle, waggle, waggle and twist method instead. Success! It worked a treat and the door swung open. Looking to make sure that the haggling was still going on, Crowfin stepped inside the open door. It was very dark inside, so Dora switched on her torch. What they saw was a bit of a surprise. Not only was Morwix there, and Ted the Frog, but there were several other creatures. Among them there was a rabbit, a newt, 2 hedgehogs, and an extremely large pig with a very curly tail. Realising that there was not much time, Dora told all the creatures to follow her and be very quiet. All the animals plus Morwix crept out and followed her over to some bushes where they hid to await developments. Crowfin was closing the door as quietly as he could when he heard a squeaky little voice. "Wait for me," it said, and a little mouse came scurrying out and ran over to Dora in her hiding place. Meanwhile, back with the haggling, Bromley was still trying to explain that they thought kidnapping was very wrong and that the aliens should release their captives and return to their planet immediately. A little way away from the aliens, Longstint was now talking to Rusin. "I have an idea," he said. "What, in your experience, is the thing that sluggy things hate most of all?" "I haven't a clue," replied Rusin. "Is it a badly dressed slug, or perhaps a snail with no fashion sense?" "Good try," said Longstint, trying to be kind. "No, what I'm talking about is salt." "Salt?" asked Rusin. "You mean the salt you put on your chips?" "Yes. You see, to slugs, salt is very dangerous. It fizzes up their slime and kills them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that we harm the aliens in any way, but if they think we have some salt, it might frighten them away," explained Longstint. "Wizzo plan," enthused Rusin. "I'm all for that. Let's give it a go." Longstint proceeded to fill a small paper bag with soil, wrote the word salt on it, and walked over to the slimy things. He greeted them by saying, "I say, you chaps, I have a little present for you," and held up the bag in front of him. The aliens became a bit excited and started saying things like, "Oh, I need to sneeze." They didn't say that. Oh, and the sneeze is gone. I'm ever so sorry. The aliens didn't need to sneeze. I'll start that again. The aliens became a bit excited and started saying things like, "Oh, I love presents," and "Is it someone's birthday?" "What is it?" one of them asked. "It's a lovely big bag of salt," shouted Longstint, waving the bag back and forth. A look of absolute horror came over the face of the alien that had been bargaining with Bromley, and he gasped shakily, "Did he just say the S word?" Someone shouted, "Quick, sound the salt alarm! We're in danger!" And the aliens started to get into the spacecraft. Oh, excuse me. They were definitely in a panic, shouting things like, "Keep away from the salt! That paper bag is dangerous!" and "I want my mum!" When the alarm sounded, a high-pitched whistling, it had the Willigrews covering their ears. Everyone watched as the slippery creatures slithered through the door, unloaded 4 large crates, and climbed slurpily back into the slimy compartment. As the engines started up, a cry went up from Rusin. "What about the creatures they kidnapped? Shouldn't we help them before the aliens go?" However, he was relieved when he turned and saw Dora coming back, followed by Morwix and a little trail of forest creatures. Meanwhile, Crowfin had opened the cases. "Come and look at this lot," he shouted. "These cases are packed with ready meals and jars of cooking sauce. They must have been planning to kidnap a lot more creatures before they went home." "Gather round, please, everyone," called Bromley. "I think I should say a few words. I'm sure that everyone will want to thank Longstint and Dora for their quick thinking." A round of applause followed this, and Longstint blushed a bit. Crowfin then welcomed the freed prisoners and said that they should all have some food and drink before they started home. So, sitting around in a circle on the ground, they munched into some chickweed sandwiches. They talked about the day's events and were having a splendid time until Morwix squealed, "Oh, gross! This isn't salt, it's soil!" She had read the word on the paper bag and without looking inside had sprinkled her sandwich with the gritty soil. That set everybody laughing loudly, including Morwix, who also saw the funny side of her mishap. On the journey back to Willigrew, the kidnapped animals were dropped off near where they lived. When they reached the pond where Ted lived, however, it looked deserted. Ted dived under the water and suddenly little froggy heads were popping up everywhere. The pond was full of them, and one said, "Let's hear it for the Willigrews. Are you all ready?" Then they started to sing a song, which, if I remember rightly, went something like this. Croak all day, croak all night, whether it's dark or whether it's light, we will croak 'cause that's what we do. We would be happy if you croaked too. The Willigrews accepted the invitation and joined in with the croaking as sort of backing singers. We can't read, we can't write, so we'll keep on croaking if that's all right. Frogs are green, grass is too, but I expect you knew that, didn't you? What followed delighted the audience as the frogs gave a special display of synchronised swimming. Brilliant, said Crowfin, and they didn't even need nose clips. After waving goodbye to the frogs, the Willigrews went back home to their village. When they arrived, the Dranglebinders were there. Duffy had told them about the rescue. At the front of the crowd was Flindax, Morwick's father. He ran towards his daughter and scooped her up in his arms. Morwick was delighted to see her dad again, and the happy little family started for their home straight away. As they walked off, hand in hand, Morwick said, "I'm very hungry, Dad. What's for dinner?" To which Flindax replied, "To celebrate your homecoming, my darling, I have prepared a delicious chicken tikka masala, especially for you." This made all those present laugh aloud and dance around in a very happy way. The sparkling mist, unfortunately, had gone now, so they put off the celebrations until the following year. However, don't worry, I will tell you all about that in another story. Well, that's the end of our journey through the Willigrews 2 and all of their adventures. They got up to a lot of things. I wonder if they ever have a chance to actually rest. They're always so busy. But I hope you enjoyed that, and we will be... I'll start that again. I'm struggling today, aren't I? We will be back tomorrow with a brand new book. So come along at 2 o'clock for some more story time, and we will see you then. Bye-bye.